Wagwan Generals, welcome back to the Shift Gear podcast. This week, we had two big regionals, one gigantic playmat failure, one secret deck, and then one random DQ that we can't really wrap our heads around. Lots to talk about this week, but I think the most important part is that Jackson Ford won the Milwaukee Regional Championship. So shout out to the boy for real.
Actually,
Want to give
shout
him a
out to
little
all three
round of
divisions.
applause.
Canada swept the Milwaukee Regional, which you love to see. We took juniors, we took seniors, and we took masters. Feels good, especially to do it on U.S. soil. You love to see it.
100%.
Continued Canadian dominance.
I think the most important realization that I had over the weekend is that Belo Horizonte kind of sounds like a line dancing competition. Doesn't sound like a place. It just sounds like what's like a Belo Horizonte. Like it sounds like some like I don't know, something extravagant, you know. One thing I did actually want to touch on is we had a record number of people come up to me this weekend talking about how they loved the sports banter we've been doing in recent weeks.
Oh, I like it.
Which
that's good.
Very surprising, right? Very surprising turn of events, but apparently it's going right now.
Some tough games for the Jays the past couple of days. They look outclassed. I mean, the first game was just they couldn't hit. Yesterday was just the pitching was bad, but
yeah,
it's not looking good.
I mean, 4 runs is not enough to win 2 postseason games either way, right? Whether our pitching was great or horrible last night, we still probably lose. There's some weird stuff going on with Toronto sports right now. It's some bad juju. Leafs are 1-2. If we're classifying the Bills because we're now like partnership with the Bills. Bills lost last night too to the Atlanta Falcons. Like, what is going on, bro? We are not in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that the only like team I'm a hardcore fan of is the Raptors. Otherwise, I'd definitely be like crashing out right now.
Yeah, I'm close.
But I mean, hey, the last time a Toronto team was in the semifinals, they lost 2 games. They won 4 in a row.
Yeah,
but I mean, the Raptors were definitely a better team than the Blue Jays, and also they were going to home. But yeah.
Yeah, and like the other thing too is like you got to understand the situation and be like, okay, at least we're here. At least we're like the Jays were projected to finish bottom of the division.
Nah, I don't care about that. Once you make it there, you got to win. Like seize your moment.
I agree, but I'm happy to be on the ride. We got tickets actually to Game 6, so if Game 6 happens, then I get to go to the game. So a lot of things riding on the Jays here.
I want your opinion on this. Like, okay, like I know this is a tradition in baseball. I find it kind of corny, like how much these guys celebrate after like every like series win, making the postseason. You win the wild card, like they're popping champagne. I'm like, that's got to take you out of the moment, like or like make you like. Not as hungry for more. I don't know, but
yeah, it's like the classic tale of like celebrating before you actually get to the proper spot. So like in hockey, I mean, like this is the background you'd come from as well. Like in hockey, teams don't even touch the trophy when they win the East or the West. They're like, I'm not interested, right? In baseball, they're popping bottles. So I kind of agree with you. I feel like they're selling a little too hard before they get to the finals, and like I don't know. Maybe when you make the playoffs, that's cool. Like maybe the one time, like all right. But like when you win the ALCS and then the DS and the wild card, like bro, who cares, man? Just go take care of business. Why are we getting absolutely rinsed? I mean, it's bold of me to talk about that as if I don't do that in between day 1 and day 2 every regional. But you know, why are we getting rinsed every single time?
Yeah, I mean, I get that baseball, like less teams make the playoffs than the other sports, so it's a little bit harder. But it was funny to see like Vladdy being like the Yankees lose like a million times.
Yankees lose.
But I don't know, it just like rubs me the wrong way that you're like basically doing like a championship level celebration for like winning the first round of the playoffs. I don't know. Like obviously these guys are professionals, but I feel like mentally that has to like not like take you out of it a bit that you're already celebrating something or being content maybe. But I mean obviously they're trying to win, but like yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of players have like some sort of stipulations in their contracts that say like for every round you advance or the team does, you get some sort of bonus. Like I'm sure that exists. So you're celebrating something. There's always some sort of like reason to celebrate these things. And like even if you think about like the World Cup and stuff, in the World Cup and like most international tournaments, your federations, aka you, get paid for how far you advance, right? So I'm sure it's something similar to that, but like, bro, these guys are so loaded. They play baseball. It's like the best paying sport in the world. Like you're okay. So I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. It's like if you win top 8 and you start crashing out in all the good ways and celebrating and popping bottles, like it is kind of cringy. I do agree.
Yeah, but so hopefully they turn it around. The day this comes out will be game 3. They're on the road. against. Actually, now we're going through the heart of the Mariners pitchers, like their best pitchers. We haven't even been going through their best stuff yet. That'll be tough, but I believe in Neil. I think they can do it. Baseball's a weird
Cy Young
sport.
performance from Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber's cousin. We need a retro performance on Wednesday. We're hitting, I think, George Kirby and then Luis Castillo, so it doesn't get any easier from here. But you know what? We tagged the Mariners up pretty good all year. One thing that was actually pretty electric was watching the Brewers Cubs Game 5 in the market there in Milwaukee.
That was a crazy game, right? Like, oh no, wait, I'm thinking of the Detroit game. Never mind. I was watching Detroit Seattle. Never mind. I didn't watch the Game 5.
That's the other one.
Yeah, never mind.
But yeah, no, watching it there was sick. It was like 3-1, I think, at the bottom of the ninth, and it was pretty electric to see them close it out. Or sorry, top of the ninth it would have been. But that Detroit game was also crazy. 15 innings, man. We went to bed. After 13, I was like, yeah.
I watched all of that one actually.
I'm impressed. Look who's picking up baseball now. I like it.
Well, I've always watched playoff baseball. The regular season, like I can't be bothered to stay engaged. But the playoffs, like the tension, like it is really true. Like every pitch, really, you feel it, like the stakes.
Oh, big time.
I enjoy the playoff baseball for sure. But all right, hopping over to Pokemon Aneil, we had the two regionals, like you said. One was won by our boy Jackson Ford with Charizard EX, and then the other one, Gustavo Wada, just one of the great players in the game, took down Gabriel Fernandez in the finals. That's kind of cool actually to see Gabriel making the finals in his first regional. So definitely living up to the hype, I think. But the story, I guess, of the weekend, Aneil, is for sure the Mega Absol deck. Kind of just coming out of nowhere. Like basically Tord tweeted, like, and I have his Twitter pulled up. When did he tweet about his like cool deck? Changed my mind. I need to play on October 5th. What day is that? That's let me pull up the calendar. Peter.
9 days ago.
Okay, that was on a Sunday. And then on the Wednesday of last week, I think he like released it in his like group class or whatever. And then all of a sudden, the deck just takes over this weekend. 62% win rate across both tournaments. I have it filtered for here. And only a 2.5% play rate, but it had like a crazy amount of top cuts. It had 3 in Milwaukee, and then actually how many did it have in Belo? It had 1, it had 2, and then also someone was playing like a Kangaskhan Buffon deck.
Yeah.
So I'll say like 5.5 top cuts for this deck across across the 2 tournaments. So I guess, you know, my first question for you is like, when's the last time we've had this happen where like a deck just comes out of nowhere and just like dominates that like wasn't on everyone's radar?
Been a while, hasn't it?
I can't really think of when the last time this really happened.
Could it have been maybe like his Urshifu thing?
Yeah, that might be a good shout, actually. It was I wasn't really like that plugged into the game when that was happening. Was that like out of left field, the Urshifu deck?
It was more, it felt pretty out of left field. I don't think anyone really thought about it. It was the deck, you played that deck at that same tournament that he popped off at.
No, I know it happened. There was EUIC, was where it popped off. And then I played Vancouver. That was like my first tournament in like 3 or 4 years. And then I played it, but I think I based it off of this tournament. Yeah, like,
I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of Rapid Strike Urshifu there, so maybe not. I can't even remember the last time we had like a random deck. Like Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan is a random deck. It's not like a little twist on something or a little innovation. No, like this is its whole ass deck by itself, and it is kind of insane to see how well it did in such little time. And like, it's not like people weren't aware of it. Going into the event, people were aware of it. I was actually going to play it. I was really close to playing it, but I needed a couple more days. I wanted to like actually learn the lines and stuff. And like, if you're staying with Tord, which a lot of these guys were, like chilling with Tord, it makes a difference. Like you can kind of get the lines from there. But I'm a big proponent now with how big the tournaments are to always play whatever you're comfortable in. So I'm trying not to like jump from deck to deck. But I know it was starting to get sent around on Wednesday or Tuesday. People started to have it and stuff, and we were trying it out, trying to figure it out. And it was a lot of people knew about it. It wasn't like this was like completely
by the
random.
time it got to the tournament, everyone knew about this deck. Yeah,
everybody did. And it was just a question of, do people believe in it enough to actually play it or not?
Yeah, I mean, its play rate wasn't that high. It just had a crazy conversion.
No.
Actually, okay, one tournament I am kind of thinking about, Neil. I don't remember if this deck did come out of nowhere, but Seattle regionals, like when the Drampa Garb deck, like everyone played it and me too. I don't remember if it came out of nowhere or not, though. Like I feel like maybe this was an archetype people knew existed. But I remember everyone was talking about Espeon, not Drampa, but...
Dude, that's a crazy limitless results page right there.
It was like, we only have stats for top 32 in this one, but 24 Garbodor decks.
Do they have the Toronto regionals there where like all 7 decks are Trevenant?
Oh yeah, that was in 2019.
That one's one of my favorite on those
I got
pages.
ninth with that one. I was also playing Trevenant. Yeah, here like one,
There you
two, three,
go.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 in top 16, and then
So
somehow
good,
Night
man.
March won. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, of all things,
Yeah. Um.
some goated names on that list.
Honestly, yeah. No, some decent names for sure. Some definitely a lot of throwbacks actually. A lot of
Yeah,
people who don't play anymore, but
a lot of people here don't play anymore.
yeah,
But
definitely some
yeah, no,
Canadian
that's a fun
throwbacks.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this like so this anyways, back to Pokemon. Like this deck came out of nowhere, right? And like people were panicking to get Mega Absols and Mega Kangaskhans and stuff. And I think the deck is really, really strong. And I was talking with I think I was talking to John Eng on Saturday night. I think he said this because he was playing it as well. Or what? No, I don't think he was playing it. Someone
I have
around
no
him was
idea.
playing it. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. But we were talking about it. We're like, okay, how do you beat this? And it's like, if a player knows what they're doing, this deck is a lot worse.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to kind of struggling to explain it.
No, but whenever I watched their stream this weekend and this deck was on it, anytime it went up against a really good player, like actually the other player almost won every single time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It does feel like skill of the opponent is really, really important here. I think like a top 5% player can counter this rather easily and like kind of play around what it does. But for a lot of players that were there, it's a good play because if you're playing lesser skilled players for 8 of your 9 rounds or 7 of your 8, whatever it is, it's a pretty good bet to do well.
Yeah, I think like it's not 62% win rate good, but I think it's still like good.
No.
It's just like I think people obviously weren't practiced against this. They didn't really know what they were doing. And then also like the caliber of player who was playing this was like so high that that also inflates the win rate a bit. So like now I think like just if the masses start playing this, we'll see its win rate start to drop off a little bit. But I do still think it's a really solid deck. It has answers for most things, and like the Dark Claw attack. I mean, just like a lot of games you just win because you just like take out their one consistency card, and then like your opponent doesn't play the game. So
I do also think that one of the reasons why this didn't like pop off going into it is because the masses got a hold of it so fast and people were playing it online and they didn't see the same type of success. And so I think that kind of had like an opinion sway to some people that might have been looking at like the limitless data or something, like saying like this doesn't seem as broken as it actually was, just because a lot of people were just kind of trying it blindly and not knowing what the lines actually were. Because this is a deck where if you don't know the lines, like the deck just is not very good. You really need to know what you're doing at what time for this deck to be good, and that's why you see it like all those results from those good players that were like either traveling with Tord or they had his Metafy or whatever it was. Like those people with information did substantially better than those without.
yeah, I mean, I actually watched his like Metafy thing where he went over it. He like basically just like went over like the starting boards. He didn't go like too into the line. So I think now he's releasing like a master class. I think I saw him say, which I mean, like he's got to do it. He's got to cash in on this.
Yeah.
So I'm sure now after that comes out, I'm sure he'll release it before Lille and Gdansk. I think maybe we'll. I think Brisbane is also coming up. So then I think maybe like the masses will understand how to play it a bit better. For sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting. We haven't had this in a while where like a new tier 1 deck comes out of nowhere, and I think this deck is probably gonna stay in the meta. I can't really see it falling off. I think Lille is our next regional, so it'll be very curious to see what the meta share jumps to for that. Like, is this going to become like a 10% type of deck, or like everyone going to flock to this? Because it's not that easy to counter. Like, it's just I think the way to counter it is you just learn how to play against it, like learn what cards it plays, and then now if you can be one step ahead of everybody, maybe you like alter your mega box deck to counter those things.
And you like looking at this data right here, you destroy a lot of the good decks. Like Goldenga, you got 82%, Dragon Ball, you got 76, Grimmsnarl's almost 70, Terrabox is 73 almost. Like you're doing good into the top decks, and like I think part of that is always due to the surprise factor. Like people don't know the lines yet, how to play against this or whatever. But I agree with you. I don't think it's like super counterable, but I do think people are going to find ways around it, poke some holes in it.
Yeah.
Definitely loses some points when people know what they're doing into it. So we'll see how it evolves.
Sure.
But is Lil this weekend? And
no,
are you going?
Lille's like 2 weeks, or not? Sorry, wait, it's next weekend. I'm going to Lille, and then I'm going to Gdansk, and then actually the week in between, I'm going on vacation to Tunisia with some of my friends just for fun.
Sick. Okay.
We randomly just picked that. We're like, all right, why not? Like,
yeah, Tunisia's like super random, but respects.
I mean, it's like pretty. Like, you can fly from Paris. It's like less than 2 hours. So I'm like, all right. My friend Camille's coming. He speaks fluent French, so I'm like, perfect. Like,
that's what you need, man.
I'm chilling.
Tunisia's so random that I can't even name like a single like athlete from the country of Tunisia.
Yeah, I don't think they're known for their sports. But
Oh, there was one dude who played for like Inter. I think it was like Benatia or something. Anyways, I'm
I'm
just
not gonna
rambling.
know.
You can
Yeah.
continue. I'm looking this up on the side because I need to know if this guy's actually from Tunisia.
Yeah, so I guess before we like hop off the Kangaskhan deck, I did want to talk about the two builds. So I mean, there was the Torrid build that everyone played with the trolley, but I don't know if you saw the list that Gabriel Fernandez played, Aneil, but he played Unfair Stamp actually in the deck.
Okay.
And I mean, Unfair Stamp plus Claw of Darkness is like a nasty combo for sure.
Pretty good.
I mean, you're pretty much just like tell your opponent like no playing the game for you, type of thing. So I mean, like when I've played actually a decent amount of games with the Absol deck now, just to learn it. The trolley does feel really good. Like you basically just get a perfect board every game. So I don't know if I felt like I needed like Stamp was like necessary, but I guess with this build, like you're relying basically just on the 4 Nest Ball. There's not a lot of Pokemon search in this build. But I do see like the idea. I guess there's one Mega Signal too. But I do see the idea where it's like if you just like get the Stamp plus the Claw of Darkness, like you just kind of like cheese a lot of games. Yeah, definitely very, very interesting. There's an Enhanced Hammer in here. I'm not 100% sure what matchup that's for. Maybe Sarah Ledge. I do think Enhanced Hammer might be a card that goes up like in play and like something like a Gardevoir even, like to get the mist off the Absol so you can like copy Terminal Period. And it's also decent against like Sarah Ledge, so it's like actually a decent tech in general. But yeah, I don't know. There's 2 builds here, so I'm curious if people will start exploring this as well, the Unfair Stamp. And then there was also, I saw at this tournament, there was a Kangaskhan Boufflant type of deck. It got second in seniors actually in Milwaukee as well, like a Kangaskhan Boufflant style deck. So it just seems like these mega decks are a thing now. So
this deck is a lot scarier. I played one of these in round 2. As a Gardevoir player, this deck is a lot scarier because the one I played Absol as well. But just like the Boufflant nerfing damage plus the Charm plus the Lively Stadium is like, how are you ever killing this thing as any deck? Not even just as Gardevoir. Like even a Goldengo struggles to kill this thing now because it needs 8 energies. So maybe no, sorry, it needs more than that.
9 if you have the full combo of everything.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Or wait,
so
is it
like,
more than that? Wait, so 360, 410. How much? Yeah, it's 9. Yeah.
Or sorry, 9. Yeah.
So I mean, if you prize 2 energy, you can't even one shot it. Like obviously, Goldengo plays counter stadiums, but or actually, the counter stadium doesn't matter. Actually, it's still 9 with the charm plus the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any which way, yeah. Like this deck is another really good variant of this. I don't think any of us saw Kangaskhan performing to this level, and like even Kangaskhan's in some control builds right now. Like the card itself is actually really, really strong. So 2 different builds for sure. The first build I actually picked up when I was testing last week was that Unfair Stamp build. I don't know where I got that from, but I picked it up somewhere, and it definitely felt a little bit underwhelming. I do think the trolley is really, really nice just to get the game set up because you normally win if you can get set up and start sniping cards out of their hands anyways. The Unfair Stamp seems really good. Seems like a bit of a win more card though, just to me, because you, as you mentioned, you lack on ball search a little bit, and if you get set up most games, you're probably going to win. So
yeah.
What build is better, TBD.
Agreed. Other interesting stuff for, I don't know how much you've looked at these results, Neil, but there was actually like Gardevoir 1, and there was Mega Gardevoir in Gustavo's list. And that was a card I think we all just said like, hey, this card's not very good. His list was very unique. It was, I mean, we kind of saw this like Turbo Guardy. We kind of talked about it last week a little bit, kind of come out. I think Henry and his group played that as well in Milwaukee. I mean, I guess we can look at a Bond's list. That's basically Henry's list. But yeah, like the 3 Lily, 3 Candy build. Gustavo still opted to play double Curlia, which I know that Henry's group played 1. But then yeah, there's the Mega Gardevoir and the Drifloon in here, so he's actually still respecting bigger Pokemon and going for one-shots. And I mean, maybe if we do see this like Mega Kangaskhan deck get popular, like Absol, like maybe you do need something like the Drifloon again in the deck to like one-shot these Mega Pokemon and give yourself actually a very favorable prize trade if you have that. So this might just be the next evolution of Gardevoir going full circle all the way back to the Drifloon.
The week leading up, I was doing a lot of testing with Mega Guardy, and I kind of concluded on like this card is not very good. But that was way before the Mega Kangaskhan Absol stuff came out. And I think this was just a genius adaptation from Gustavo and saying, like, people are going to play this Kangaskhan Absol deck. I need to have an answer. I think a lot of guys kind of reasoned that Drifloon was a great inclusion for this weekend. So Drifloon's obviously awesome, and it's good into that matchup a little bit. But this Mega Guardy honestly does bits into that matchup. And it does seem like his build here was, like, really just centered around the Mega Guardy. Like, he played no evos. He had the double Mystery Garden with 8 energies. So you're always having enough energies to get to where you need to be. The only thing more you probably could have done is played the fourth vessel, but with the Mega Guardy version, it always felt like energies were the biggest constraint. And like obviously getting up 2 Gardevoirs, one of them being a Mega Gardevoir, is also tough. So I'd be curious to see like how often he actually used it. But to me, this just screams like adaptation to Mega Kang coming out and like just a need to really one shot out of nowhere. And Mega Guardy can do it easily. You get 8 energies on the board, you're laughing. So and Monkey Pings.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess the idea is like you make the Mega Guardian to knock out the Absol, and they hopefully don't have another one set up. And like the deck can't just make an Absol out of nowhere, and then like you can just take your prize that way. So yeah, super cool. I think going forward, maybe we are going to see more, at least Drifloons back in the deck, if not Mega Guardies.
absolutely.
I saw Diego Casaraga got top 4 with Joltik blocks, and then I looked at his matches, and he literally faced the Absol deck like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and he faced it like 4 times in day 2. So I guess maybe the Galvantula puts in a lot of work. Yeah, Galvantula one-shots the Absol, and you have the Iron Leaves, so I'm like, okay, like that's maybe your answer there. And then there's no jamming here, but like Pika could knock out Kangaskong if they don't get the Bravery Charm in the stadium down fast enough. So I just thought that was interesting. There's also a Magneton here.
You can also kind of cheese and like go around it too with hands. Maybe getting some weird prize maps sometimes.
Yeah, so I just thought it was interesting. A Joltik box doing well. There's also Iron Leaves is actually pretty good in the meta right now as well. With Grimmsnarl coming back, we also have like Iron, like this deck just destroys Grim, and also I guess the Leaves help your Charizard a bit. So I don't want to see this deck back in the meta, but maybe Joltik is actually like positioned a little bit better than it was before.
I agree, unfortunately.
And then there's also some other interesting stuff out here. There's like an Archaludon deck that got top cut at the Brazil Regional. They played the Mega Mawile. Yeah, with the Risky Ruins here. You know, to try and get some more damage down on the opponent, I guess. And then like the Mawile to help close out games. And then Hero's Cape too. To make some massive Archaludons.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, I think Brazil definitely had cooler results than the Milwaukee one. And we also saw Saraledge in the top cut here. I think Saraledge is very well positioned. It's one of the few decks that has a good matchup into the Absol deck. And then also like the deck is just like solid. It's a really good aggro deck. It's pretty decent into stuff like Gardevoir and Dragapult, and even Charizard a little bit, depending on what build they're playing. I guess Jackson's build's a bit better into this because it has its own Briar and Dusknoirs. But yeah, I think Saraledge is definitely another deck that we said was decent, and I think it's actually its position has like improved a bit with how the results have gone from this weekend. Yeah. Saraledge is definitely a deck I'll be thinking about playing.
For sure. And I don't know if you look back on it, but it actually looked like our video from last week, our little tier list, was actually relatively accurate for once.
I think our meta percentages were off for some of them. I think our Dragonful Dusknoir one was way off. I was actually shocked how little Dragonful Dusknoir was played this weekend, but yeah, for the most part, I thought we did.
We did okay for once. I just want to throw that into the universe. We did all right.
Yeah. There's other stuff. I was looking at this list from Yerka. There's like a Wellspring, like water energy for Crispin Raging Bolt deck.
So the Rowan special.
Yeah, so basically like did Rowan do this in Raging Bolt?
He was texting us on Thursday night about this.
Yeah, so kind of
he didn't end up playing it obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, he did pretty well with the one he picked. But yeah, like Raging Bolt, we've talked about how it's kind of fallen off a little bit, but I guess this maybe gives us some juice. Like it gives you some more counterplay against the evolving decks. You can just Wellspring, take 2 prizes instead of like being forced to take 1 prize on their 1 prize board. So that was a cool innovation. There's a Typhlosion in top 16. I guess Typhlosion, cool. But yeah, that was mainly some of the cool things I saw down south Brazil. Then we can talk about Milwaukee next. So first, we'll start at the top. Big shout out to Jackson. I was really happy to see him get the dub. So
I'm claiming responsibility for his victory because we were at we were at the Smokehouse before top 8. It was like Rowan, Jackson, Nate, and like a couple other guys. And he was like stressing the whole time. I just kept calling him like a tweaker. So I would like to take responsibility for his win. I just bullied him into winning. He was like, he was sitting there like we're at the dinner table. He's like analyzing like the matchups. He's like, yo, if this happens, like I'll dodge this and you'll dodge this. And he knew like before the match was concluded, he's like, Rowan, we're in the same bracket, man. We're in the same bracket. We both can't win the tournament. So shout out to Jackson for being the biggest overanalyzer I've ever met. But clearly it works out very well.
Yeah, I mean, he had a nice little gauntlet top cut there, Tord into Rowan to Vaughn. Actually, the top cut for this tournament was like one of the most stacked I think I've ever seen in a long time. For sure. So yeah, I mean, we all going for the weekend knew Charizard was very powerful. I think we said it was like kind of like in that A tier type of deck. I was actually a bit surprised by like his list that won. Like, there's no Psyduck, which is like the card everyone was talking about like what is bringing Charizard back. And then he did play those like Jet energies with like the Klefki and the Tatsu. You know, you can get the Klefki in the active, like pop your Dusknoir against Psyduck. You can get the Tatsu in the active. And the other nice thing is it plays around Mind Bend a little bit, because if the Guardy goes for that, you just go Jet, get out of the confusion. I mean, I think Charizard just has really good matchups right now, and Dragapult has gone way down in play. So Charizard's just like pretty well positioned. I mean, you have like the Mist Energy here that helps you protect against like TM Devo, stuff like that. And this was interesting, like only 2 Arven, but then he like plays like the Town Store double TM Evo, so like you still have a lot of outs in TM Evo if you have to play Lilies. So
Yeah,
definitely a very good take on the deck.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I think like the biggest thing that stands out to me is this guy, like, he did not want to lose to Mind Bend, which is awesome. Like, you don't lose to Mind Bend. You've built in, like, as much as it might lack a bit of consistency with like the last Arvins, the Tatsu really helps a lot, right? So you can just retreat into Tatsu at the end of your first turn or whatever, get into the support for next turn. But the other thing is like Gardevoir cannot beat this. Like, this build cannot be beat by Gardevoir, or at least
Ian
it's
Robb beat him.
it's impressive. Guardy Jelly, I think, is a little bit different, because you can do a couple games here and there.
Yeah.
But dude, like, he has all the edge to Gardevoir. Like, he's the Mist. He is the Shaman is like the biggest thing, right? You can't do much with the Shaman. But if you can't Shaman, then the next thing, or if you can't Screamtail, the next thing you're gonna do is Mind Bend the active. You can't do that either because he plays Jet Energies. So this build, honestly, like, quite genius, like all the way around. Like, playing with an out to Psyduck without playing Psyduck himself. Kind of, I don't know if his thought process was like, okay, I'll like kind of sack the Dragapult matchup. I'm not entirely sure what his thought process was there, but clearly it worked. A lot of cool things here. He plays a 90 HP Pidgeotto, which I found to be interesting as well. That's
he
a
had
card
no
that I
Dragapult, but yeah, the Pidgeotto here, I think his reasoning was if Solrock Vitality Band can't knock out this Pidgeotto.
Okay, all right, that's fair. You lose the free retreat. I'd wonder if that was worth it or
Yeah,
not, but I
I'm
guess
curious that's worth it. But...
yeah. Anyways, really interesting list, like masterclass in deck building, in my opinion. I just wanted to kind of point that out, that he does make the top of the, like, the best decks in the room do struggle to beat this.
Yep.
And I'm not too sure how his Grim matchup is, but everything else seems pretty decent.
It's probably like not favored, but it's not a disaster. Like, you can sweep them with Max Belt in the late game. Like, especially the Dusknoir helps a lot to try and like, you can go like knock out more Grim and then like Max Belt, knock out Grim.
Yeah.
It's still probably tough because they can just go double Frost Blast at the start and then put a lot of pressure, and you only have 1 mist, but I don't think it's like a complete disaster. Sure. Okay, yeah, we'll look at the second place list. I mean, this is basically just Chow's group. And I think the big thing, Aneil, is you were a visionary. There is Enamorous in the list this weekend.
Another Enamorous, bro. I did see a lot of Enamorous running around, and I'm not taking credit for Enamorous. Someone else found it before me. I just played it. But it did seem like it is correct to play now in this meta, which I had thought that was true for a little while now, but it is certainly a good card. Helps you kind of all around, and like, ironically, and this is hilarious at the timing, but I thought it was the worst card in my deck this weekend. I had a horrible weekend. Like, just the variants didn't really go my way, whatever, it was fine, but Enamorous was definitely the most useless card of my deck, so I'm really surprised to see this pop up in the top list. I do think it is still really good, but it definitely, what I learned this weekend is I think it is very matchup dependent. Obviously, there's a lot of usage for it. A lot of decks play Monkey Dory, a lot of decks play Pheasantipity. But what I learned is I was playing Drifloon. What I learned is Drifloon outclasses it in some matchups. So maybe they can't coexist. I know these guys didn't play Drifloon. That would make a lot of sense. But definitely some more learnings to be done with Enamorous. But it was really nice to see this pop up in their list. They also played the Turo because Pidgeot was kind of on the rise, and there's a lot of Retreat Lock running around. They played the TM Turbo Energize instead of Evolution, which is another really interesting take.
Yeah, I guess just to get those monkeys set up in the matchups, you need them. And then also the bundle to respect the Jelly Guardy. So definitely a very teched out list.
Very.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, Rowan played a really standard Jelly Guardy list. Not that that's a bad thing or anything, just pretty standard. Deck is good. I actually think this is the list I was testing actually leading up to the tournament. So I wasn't going, but I think it's the list I gave a couple of my students. Coincidentally, we had the same one. I mean, it's not that hard because it's like basically just based off the old Jelly Guardy list.
Yeah.
This was the other deck that I was happy to see in Top Cut. We did have a Grim make it all the way. Brandon Salazar, 2014 national champion, I think. Yeah, 14. Yeah.
Checks out.
With the big basic deck, he beat Pramwat's Pyroar deck. Yeah, he beat Pyros. That's 2014. Yeah, it was Grim. I mean, Grim was like on the graphic. I think it was like the second most played deck because they like sectioned out all the decks by the variants. So cool to see Mr. Grimothy Snarl get back into the meta game here. Lily's is definitely a huge buff for the deck.
And it does still feel like the deck is like you're gonna brick for like sometimes inevitably, right? But I guess in best of three you have a lot more leeway. And this was something like we were talking about last week, right? It's like it is really tough to go on a big run with this deck. Just in variance will eventually catch up with you. But Brandon Salazar, man,
Yeah.
trail. I was also like, as much as I don't really love the deck, I was really happy to see this in top 8. I thought it belongs in top 8. At least 1 or 2 copies belong in top 8.
So he was beating up on Charizard and Gardevoir for most of it. He did lose to Obon in Top Cut, so I'm curious what happened there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good matchup spread to have on your first day.
Bro, Obon actually scammed his Top Cut. He like beat Zoroark and Grim back to back. Like that's crazy.
That is wild. And then I would almost argue in like that top 4 that he was in for a tough time if it wasn't for that DPL.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, Hale didn't have the best hand, but you're all right. Like, that basically just, like, ended the game on the spot.
Yeah, because, like, a Bond setup was kind of slow, but he didn't have to do a whole lot because he had the DPL, right? And as soon as he took that first prize, the game was over. I think in an alternative universe, he maybe... I'd have to watch it back, but I was thinking in real time, like, he maybe loses that game if it wasn't for the DPL, just because of the sudden death thing.
Yeah, Hale put on, like, a masterclass in Game 2 to come back in that game. He looked dead in the water, and he was able to find the line. It was actually a really well-played game.
Yeah,
if anyone wants a game to go study just to, like, see winning from behind, I'd say Game 2 of Top 4 is definitely one to watch.
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, we can talk about briefly like Aiden's deck too. Like it was basically just Zoroark with Okie Dokie EX though, making an appearance, and then there's like the Evil Tall Petch combo. I mean, we saw it in like the Tord deck as well. This is definitely like a new control strat for sure. It puts damage on yourself, so you can use Monkey, and then like it just gives you so much mobility.
So Kieran, here's a quiz for you. What's outstanding about this deck that has not been done in Top Cut history?
Has not been done in Top Cut history? I mean, besides Okie Dokie EX making Top Cut?
Don't fact check me on that one, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it hasn't been done. It features all 4 members of the Merc trio. All 4 of them. Okie Dokie, Pekarunt, Fez, and Monkey Dory. All 4 members of the most dislikable legendary trio in history are in this deck.
Wait, there's 3 members, right?
No, there's 4. Pekarunt is like the 4th one.
Wait, who's the other? There's no. Oh, Fez, you're right. Yeah, Fez. I forgot Fez is part of this. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, you said 4, trio. And then you said trio, so I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, sorry. So like, there's 3 of them, and then Pekarunt is like the ringleader that comes and orchestrates them at the end of the game.
That is cool actually that we have all that. We don't have Monkey Dory EX, but Monkey Dory, like the broken one, is like not the EX, but that is cool.
Yeah, I don't actually know if that's a true statement. I'm just assuming that all 4
that has to be true, bro.
I feel like it's a pretty safe assumption.
I think it's a safe assumption too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, other stuff we saw. I mean, a Pidgeot got to top 16, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the deck seems pretty good. I mean, it's one of those things where I think, like, again, like, everyone just respects controls. And like, yeah, it's probably pretty good. And people just don't practice it or practice against it. So let's see how close did they get. They didn't lose a win or anything. They went into top 16. And there's 2 Sarah-Ledge, or there's one on top 16 and then one at 17th for Roscawthon. So Sarah-Ledge definitely holding its own.
And then one got DQ'd F in the chat.
Oh, he was playing Sarah-Ledge. The guy got DQ'd.
I believe that was a Sarah-Ledge slow, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we can talk about briefly if we want to have the tweet pulled up. I think this is his brother. Yeah, I mean, this is very long, so I'm not going to read this.
Assumption.
Yeah. If you guys want, it's at HuntyMon. If you guys want Hunter Smith on Twitter, if you guys want to read this whole statement. Basically, TLDR is his brother got disqualified because his Pheasantipity, and I think it was the Squawk, were bent, and they said they could discern it from the deck. And he got deck checked, I think, the first day of competition. And like they said, I don't know if they said nothing was wrong or if they say, but he got deck checked one day and then he got deck checked again. He got DQ'd on the second day.
Yeah, so he had a warning in the first one because I think it says here 4 visible imprints of the cards through the back of the sleeves under the right lighting. I mean, sure, I guess it's really hard to pass judgment when we're not there seeing the cards as well, right? But in general, like, you do want judges to point that stuff out. You do want judges to lay down warnings for these things. As a Pokemon player, that is what you want. You don't want people cheating, and I'm not saying that Luke was. He probably wasn't, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
he's probably very clean in this scenario, just caught in the wrong time. But yes, we got the warning the first day, and then here, I mean, it's really hard to tell from this pile of cards on the
Yeah, I mean,
screen.
there's no way to tell from this.
If it's that lower pink one that's kind of sticking out there, then maybe.
Yeah.
But
I guess
I
it's
don't
the
know, man.
lighting, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's like
It's
unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's reinforcement to always check your sleeves, like always
Yeah.
be on top of what your deck situation is. And like, I'm not accusing him of not doing that. I'm sure he did check. I'm sure he was aware. But I think it's important to just double, triple check because judges do take this seriously. And even if you're not cheating, sometimes you can be misconstrued as cheating if the wrong card is nicked or something like that. So always like try and stay on top of these things and re-sleeve before day 2. I think is really, really important as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think my thing with when it comes to these, I'd say probably like 90% plus of DQs I see for marked cards are probably like the player wasn't trying to cheat type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it feels bad. Like I mean, I have to go off the information that I'm giving here, right? That like you get deck check day 1 and then like you don't get DQ'd or anything. Then like you just start getting DQ'd day 2. Like that feels really like bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, like marking Fez and Squawk. I mean, I guess Squawk is a card you want at the start of the game, maybe. I mean, I was always at the mindset like if you want to cheat, like marking cards like makes almost no sense. But then I guess if you at Worlds, you had that one guy who you played against, who was like putting the cards back off of Fez. So
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, if I were to mark cards in my deck, I don't think Fez and Squawk would be up there on the list. I feel like the logical thing would be to like mark your ace spec, and if they found his ace spec and like that was the only mark card in the deck, then yeah, like insta ban hammer. But in this case, yeah, it's I think context is really, really important. Like, I think if those 2 cards that were marked in this scenario were like, I don't know, Carmine and Ultra Ball, I don't think the judges pay any attention to it.
yeah, and that's
But just because of
random.
the nature, yeah, just because of their like one-ofs and stuff, like I feel like that's probably why the harsher hammer was brought down here. And like I said, as players, we want this to happen, like not obviously to innocent people, but you want the people that are cheating to be punished for cheating. So I understand why the judges go about it. It does seem like this may have just been an unfortunate kind of circumstance.
I don't. It just seems a bit crazy though to jump to DQ. Like I think they said somewhere in here too. It's like a lot of times like you just get like a game loss or like a match loss even, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I had a situation at Toronto Regionals last year where my opponent like they stopped our game. His prime catcher, they could pick it out every single time from the deck, and they gave him a game loss, right? So I'm like, that's like if you really think the guy was cheating or it was marked, I'm like, I mean, like that's the prime catcher, like that's the most important card, like that would be a DQ. So like I'm like, I don't know why like that would be like a game loss, and then like something like your Fez and your Squawk, which are definitely less important cards, would be like a DQ.
I do agree that there should be some sort of discernment between like the levels of punishment here because like DQ, you think about DQ in like a broad perspective. Okay, I got disqualified, whatever. But in cash tournaments, that's a big deal. Match loss versus DQ is the difference between this person having $3,000 and them having 0. So I think if you're going to DQ someone, you have to have substantial evidence. I think like match loss is probably sufficient for the most
Yeah.
part. Just get them out of the tournament, unless you're absolutely convinced that they are cheating. That's kind of my take on it.
I think I agree. I heard a story of at Worlds, the judges deck checked someone and like they thought their Fez was marked, so then they let them play the next game, and then like they were seeing if they tried to do anything sketchy and they're going to DQ them, but then they just like stopped the game randomly and gave him a match loss because like they determined like he wasn't like looking for it or like using it. I don't know. I guess my thing is it's just like with deck checking is like it's not the same person doing every single deck check, so like there's error. It's not uniform, right? And the other thing is like, I don't know how to say it's like nicely. It's just like I don't trust the judges like to make the right decision on like stuff like this, right? It's like who's like we're talking about like oh like if the Fez is marked versus this card is marked, right? It's like who's to say like which card is the one you would really mark, right? And the other thing that kind of scares me a little bit too when like we're so harsh on this is like if someone's dishonest, like you could just start marking your opponent's sleeves. Like I know there was a thing in Magic where someone got DQ'd for marking his opponent's sleeve. Like he like I think put his nail into the guy's sleeve and then like his opponent's sleeve was marked and then like they caught him doing it. I don't know. It just feels like it's one of the most stressful things I think at a tournament when you're getting deck checked is like every time I get deck checked, I'm like okay, like I know I'm not cheating. Like I didn't put my deck is 60 cards. Like I check my sleeves after every round, me personally, and you're just like always nervous that like something's gonna happen or like who's to say like a judge doesn't mishandle your deck and all of a sudden like one of your sleeves gets bent and then like they blame it on you, right? So I agree with you. I think DQ is extremely harsh. I think for marked cards, unless it's like insanely obvious and like you see a player using it. I think I'd probably start at like a match loss. as like the
And
upper end.
but
Uh,
I mean, it's a really, really interesting conversation, but that's also the part of me that like kind of gravitates towards the idea that they did find something substantial, that like they did see something in this guy's deck that said like, or maybe in his play that said, okay, like something is wrong here. But I do agree it is really, really harsh. But I tend to give the benefit of a doubt to the judges in the most part, because I know there's people out there that are doing weird stuff. I'm not saying in any way this person was one of those people, but I'm just saying if the judges resulted in a DQ, and I know they do give DQs out pretty probably more frequently than they need to in these kinds of situations. But I do think that the judges tend to do a good job in like specking these things out. And I agree with you. Like there are times where, yeah, a judge can mess up your card and then you come back and then suddenly it's your fault. And you against the judges, good luck, right? You're losing that battle every time. But it does feel like sometimes that they are a little bit too harsh.
yeah.
It feels like sometimes like you're like going over the border and you did nothing wrong. You don't have any felonies and you're sitting there like, why am I nervous? Like this doesn't make any sense. It does feel the same way for deck check. And I'd be curious to know. And you've talked about this. You brought this up like multiple times. We need judge statements. Like I want to
Yeah.
know what the judges were thinking. Why did this happen? Like it would help us pass judgment on this so much easier. And as a community, we could band together to try and make sure this stuff doesn't happen to innocent
Yeah.
people.
In my opinion, like if like the ideal scenario would be if like a DQ happens from our cards, like the judges should be required to take a photo or like a video, being like, hey, like this is how we can like pick it out of the deck, like showing that, and like they just write a report and be like, this is why someone was DQ'd. Here's the evidence.
Yeah, it's like a police
And
report.
I've talked to judges before, and like they're frustrated that they feel like Pokemon also doesn't protect them when it comes to rulings like this, because inevitably it gets leaked a lot of times, like which judge made the decision, or you can just look up who the head judge was, right? And then we only get to hear the story from one side. Now, obviously, I'm not saying Hunter's lying or anything. I'm just saying like this might not be the truth. Like in general, I err to give people the benefit of the doubt, but then like the judges don't get to say their side, right? So we don't truly know. And like I've talked to some judges about some of the higher profile like DQs before, and like they told me that like it's what was issued publicly like wasn't exactly what happened type of thing. So it's just better for all parties involved. I mean, that's the real thing at the end of the day. Like it's better for all parties involved if we like move towards like statements either from like not from the judges themselves. I think Pokemon should be the ones issuing it, just being like, this decision was made, this is why, because you don't want to put like a judge's names out there and like have harassment like targeted at them. But just an unfortunate situation all around. And I think it's just another thing, like we're saying, like it just isn't handled well by like TPCI, like how DQs are issued out. So
yeah, and it's like it's important to take both sides of this, and that's what I'm trying to point out. Like playing devil's advocate, like there are two sides. It's not to say like, oh, we think the judges all suck. Like that's obviously not true. But we do know people do cheat in this game, right? Like there's both sides to this. Like the judges could be right sometimes, the players could be right sometimes. I have no reason to believe Luke was cheating here. I also have no reason to believe that he wasn't cheating here. You know what I mean? Like it's impossible to know without context, and like those statements and stuff would help us a lot. And like they're not here to provide statements so we can judge it on SHIFTGEAR podcast. Like that's not the reason why we're asking for this. It's just like I feel like we do need a little bit more transparency, because like if Luke is in fact an innocent player, it kind of sucks that this happens to him, right? So
yeah, because again, he was going to make top cut money, like you said, reputation hurt.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, also like he ID'd round 15, so he knew he was gonna get deck checked. So if he really marked the cards, I feel like he could have just switched them out between the round if he was really trying to cheat.
Yeah, exactly.
So that also gives me a little bit of a lean towards like I don't think he did, but like we said, there's no way to 100% be sure. Yeah, we can move on from that to.
It sucks either way.
Yeah, exactly. All right, more negativity, Aneil. Let's talk about gaming gen. Really bad weekend for these guys. So the first thing they tweeted was the playmat thing, right? Due to logistical errors beyond our control, competitor playmats for this event will be player's choice from our available options. We'll have limited quantities. These playmats are first come, first serve. So they didn't have the Mega Gardevoir playmats they were supposed to hand out, and they basically just handed out like the backlog of like I guess the extras they had. So I don't know. We'll start there, Neil. What were your thoughts on that? I obviously wasn't at the tournament. Did you get a playmat, or did you just like not get any?
Bro, this is the first time in my life I didn't even bother. I didn't even bother going over there. Yeah, like it really did feel like they're just like, here's some like ass we have in the back that no one wants. It was like Latias, Terapagos, Cinderace, and some Executor or something like that. And like guys, like I get it. Like sometimes there are logistical errors that maybe Pokemon didn't send you stuff. And I've seen Pokemon not send stuff on time. Like you talk at any store ever, they'll tell you, "Oh, Pokemon messed this up. Pokemon messed that up," and it does happen. But the resolution to this has to be better than what they
Yes.
did.
100%.
I think that's all we're asking for. We're not saying, "Hey, you have to, take the responsibility for Pokemon's mistake." No, if this was their mistake, this was their mistake. Cool. But we were at LAIC 2 years ago, right, Karen, where they didn't have the stuff. They shipped it to us. They shipped it from Brazil
Yeah,
to
every year
Canada.
Copag does that. I'll give them credit. I know Copag, there's a lot to beef with them, but they always do ship the stuff.
Yeah, they do right by it. And like it's look, I get it. Shipping's expensive. There's a lot of logistical problems with this, but you guys make so much damn money off this game. The least you can do for a lot of, especially in an October regional. It's not like this is an April regional. This is an October regional. A lot of first players' first tournament was here. They were looking forward to the new stuff, and I understand there's no clause that says, "Hey, we have to go with the newest stuff," whatever, whatever. But in general, you want the player experience to be as high as it
Yep.
can be. And I think this is definitely a huge miss to not give the players what they deserve. And like players like myself and like you, like we don't need these play mats, right? Like we Kajillion play mats. It's not about that. It's just about like, hey, there's a Lily's determination card that maybe we could have used, or we just want to get what we paid for. And especially when you're upping the prices of regionals that are
Yep.
already ridiculous, and you're DQing players, and that money is not being redispersed. That money is going to your pocket from the player that you DQ'd. Well, I guess it drops down to another guy. So
Yeah,
I
it
guess
drops down.
someone
It's like,
extra does
yeah.
get money, but you know what I mean. It's like those things have to be better. If you're going to
Yep.
charge more, it has to be better. You can't be doing stuff like this. And
Yeah.
I get it. Sorry, I'm kind of ranting here, but I get it. Like running an event is difficult. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and they shelled out more money for a bigger event this year. So bravo, I guess. They held it in a different hall this year, so it was like massive. There's a nice like open concept thing going on. But you got to fix things like this.
Agreed. It's just the principle of it, right? Like in business, like you're always taught, like, the customer experience is like the most important thing. Like, so when you mess
Yeah.
up, you have to own it and then like try and fix it. Like you said, the fix is like very simple. It's literally just like, okay, we'll ship everyone their mats. Because this just reads off as like super like greedy from them being like, all right, we're just gonna like get rid of old product. We're not gonna try and mediate the situation. Like you said, if you're raising the price, like there's expectations that come with that, right? You want a better product, you want things on time, you expect them to have the playmats. So just super disappointing to see from Gaming Gen. And then, what's it called? Then they had this. This was, I thought, like a super, super tone deaf tweet. Hey trainers, in
Yeah.
order to assist with traffic flow Saturday morning, if your start time is 8:30 a.m., please arrive between 6:30 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. So that's like, okay, not only do we mess up with the mats, it's like we didn't like either hire enough people, hire enough security, right, to have like a smooth check-in process. And it's not like these people are like, oh, like, whoops, we didn't realize how many people were coming. Like, you knew how many seats you sold, all that. So it just comes off to be the Gaming Gen, like, either they're not a competent organizer or they're just cutting corners and like not hiring the necessary people or teams to make sure that these events are run smoothly. So big L for Gaming Gen this weekend. Not
And like,
happy with them.
yeah, agreed. And the other thing too is like they closed the hall an hour earlier on Friday. So like there's people, I mean, I'm victim of this. We came in at like 6 or 6:30 just trying to get our wristbands, and like by the time we got to Milwaukee to the venue, like it wasn't possible. And so like that is all fine, right? In general, like, okay, whatever, you can close the venue whenever the hell you want to. But you know what happened in Pittsburgh. Like you
Yeah.
know that there are people lining up for like an hour and a half outside the venue. What you should be doing is allowing people to pick up their wristbands earlier, and opening the hall later, and opening more security gates, and telling people what they actually should be doing besides saying, hey, arrive at 6:30 or we can't help you. Respectfully, nobody is going at 6:30 a.m. for an 8:30 a.m. Pokemon tournament. We're already there for like 8 hours in a day. Nobody's trying to go at 6:30. And we arrived at like 7:45, 7:50. We were fine. We were chilling. Thank God. But like if you know this many people are coming, open more security. And my other beef with this whole thing is like you get to security, finally, you wait in line, you get to security, they don't even look in your bags, dude. They're
Bro, it's
not doing
all
anything.
theater. It's all theater. It drives me nuts. It's like, yeah, it's like we
Yeah.
have it here, but like no, like if they're not actually preventing like anything. It's like you're like, because they want to just get people through because there's so many. And it's like, okay, well then like what even
Yeah.
is the point of this? Like, I don't know. It's
I
just
don't know, man.
disappointing. Like, and Aneil and I might come off as a bit harsh, but I mean, like, Gaming Gen now, like, this is like they're a profit motivated company, right? Like, this isn't like old days when like people are basically just volunteering to run regionals. Like, this is like the players or the spectators now are customers, and you expect a better experience.
Yeah, and I think us specifically, we have a lot of sympathy for stuff like that, right? Like we're always like trying to back like the organizers or the people that run league cups, whatever. Like we'll always give you the benefit of the doubt. We just spent like 10 minutes talking about how judges deserve the benefit of a doubt. So I think we're very positive in that sense as well. It's just like this should not happen. It should not happen. It's like, come on, guys. It's not your first regional. It's the second regional of the year. People want their stuff. At least do the right thing. Send them their stuff. Don't tell us to show up at 6:30 and act like you're blaming the players. Like that's where our issue with this whole thing is.
Yeah, I think the other thing people are like, oh, like you can vote with your wallet, but I mean, like, there's not really like a alternative, right? Like they run all the regionals.
Oh, what we're gonna do?
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I say this all the time, right? It's like TPCI, like Gaming Gen, whoever. Like, there's no incentive for them to improve, right? Because we all love Pokemon so much, like we're gonna do it no matter what. So
that's the problem.
I mean, we can voice our opinions. Hopefully, someone at Gaming Gen or like TPCI listens and like they want to improve the experience for players, spectators alike. But
yeah.
For now, it was unfortunate this weekend. I mean, I'm sure the event was still fun and everything, even with these hiccups. But just there's always room for improvement. And we're just gonna call that out. So.
For sure, yeah. The event was still fun. It was still smooth. Like, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I had a good time. Like, I played horribly. I missed my first day too since like February, which felt horrible. I had a good streak going, but I still had a great time through the event. The event was very smooth, very fast, despite being miserable. But the result, we still had a good time, and I think that's what matters. Milwaukee, great regional city, had a ton of fun in the Deer District as well. It's where the Bucks have all their sports bars.
Were you going bonkers, Aneil?
I was not going bonkers.
Do you know that reference or no?
I do not know that reference.
Oh, bro. They had during the 2019 playoffs, the Bucks, like the Bucks social media team, one of the worst social media teams across like not even just sports, just like anything. It's like so cringe. They made this song called like "We're Going Bonkers" and like had people sing it in like the Deer District. It was like the cringiest video I've ever seen. Everyone go look that up.
That is tough.
Common Milwaukee Bucks L. Go look that up. You guys want to go look it up?
Okay, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, no, I was not going bonkers. I want to give it just a quick special shout out. I know we're over time here. Just a quick special shout out to Xander. He was out with us on Saturday night going berserk, and he popped off like crazy on day 2. So big shout out to Xander. Big shout out to Austin, Sam, Mitch, all the guys I stayed with. I was the only guy in my room who didn't day 2, so that was another like very eye opening experience. Being the supportive mom, bringing granola bars for my sons throughout the day. So sometimes bad tournaments do happen, so it's all good. But I just want to give a huge shout out to those guys who came out on Saturday night. We're having a great time. Milwaukee's a great party city. Felt safe. All of that stuff. So
nice. Cool.
I felt like I was being too negative this pod, so I just wanted to hold it off, finish it off with a nice like positive note. Yeah,
I like it.
For sure.
Like it. Oh yeah, for anyone wondering why Aneil and I are like up against the clock, it's because we both have meetings. So that'll be it for SHIFTGEAR podcast this week.
What a horrible ass podcast. These guys don't even make time for their own podcast. So bad. Yeah. Quick time. I know we got to go. I want to give a special shout out to everybody who came up to me this weekend. There's so many people who were like talking about SHIFTGEAR and how much they love it. I had to sign a SHIFTGEAR Clink Clang this weekend, which is pretty dope. Yeah, some awesome stuff going on. We really appreciate y'all being with us every step of the way. But right now, go listen to the Wonder Tag podcast. They had a nice cleanup weekend there. Yeah, Rowan and Jackson both did very, very well. So we're super proud of them. Super proud that the Canadians are checking out. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah. Any shilling you got for us? Can we please take this off the screen? It's kind of PTSD.
Take what off the screen? Oh, your top cut. Your run. Oh, sorry, my bad, bro.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
No, I don't think I have any shilling this week. I don't think. No.
Sick.
No.
I'll do it for you. Go watch Kieran's Sisters in the Shuffle pod, whatever he does. I saw his tweet. I didn't watch it, but I'm sure it's great. Go watch that and go watch the Wonder Tag podcast. That's all we got for you. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you for being here. Peace.
Later.